Since some of the best metal is informed by music that is not metal at all, these are 10 of my favorite non-metal albums that I think every metalhead should listen to. And I think the last few in particular might surprise you.
Don't touch that dial now, we're just getting started.
First up, we have Quicksand with Slip. This is one of my all-time favorite 90s alternative albums, and despite being a big fan of that genre during the time, I didn't discover this album until much later. Everyone remembers Helmet, but too few remember the similar stylings of Quicksand. If you love the likes of Meantime and Betty, you're going to love the rebellious attitude and crunchy riffs of Quicksand. The dark atmosphere of songs like Freezing Process, Head to Wall, Dying Alone, and Omission are like somebody bottled the essence of the 90s, and every time you listen it's injected straight into your veins. It's this certain indescribable vibe that you just had to be there to understand, but I think this album gets about as close as you can get to conjuring it with music.
I said chocolate chip.
Next up is Primus with Sailing the Seas of Cheese. Time for a band and album that really helped push me towards a greater appreciation of technicality when it comes to music while still having a profound sense of humor. Funnily enough, my first exposure to these guys was their performance of Tommy the Cat on my still beloved Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And I was really taken by both Les Claypool's bizarre vocal performances and his absolutely incredible bass work. Honestly, before this, I'm not sure I had really experienced a band where the guitar wasn't the main focal point, and songs like Sergeant Baker, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver, and Is It Luck make this a real head bobber of a listen. Pork Soda and Frizzle Fry are also great, but in my opinion, this is their most consistent outing. Then we have Andrew WK with I Get Wet. I honestly didn't really know what to make of Mr. WK the first time I saw his music video for Party Hard. Here's this big, intense-looking guy acting all serious and bleeding from his head in his trademark all-white outfit. Surely I thought this was going to be some sort of metal or hardcore music. But then that upbeat guitar line and goofy piano kicks in and left me absolutely baffled. And once I shed the preconceptions and got a sense of the positive guy Andrew really tries to be on all fronts, his natural charisma just became absolutely infectious. Party Hard and She Is Beautiful are both in my regular gym rotation, but there are plenty of other banger tracks on here like I Love NYC and I Get Wet. Perfect when I need a break from the misery.
You can see just now these small blue arrows represent sharp teeth of a blue dragon.
Then we have Portishead with Dummy. It makes me so happy to see just how many metal bands have cited this album as an influence, because it just goes to show how sometimes the least metal music out there can inspire some really heavy stuff. A dreamlike cymbalum and theremin-infused bit of low-key trip-hop that sounds like something you'd hear at a David Lynch movie jazz club. Beth Gibbons' sultry voice is like a delicate silk drifting over your earlobes against a backdrop of hypnotic beats. And there's always this strange, uncanny sense that something is just a little bit off, which I think is the element that captured the imaginations of so many other metal musicians looking to produce the same eerie sensation in their own audience. Favorite tracks here: Sour Times, Strangers, Wandering Star, and Roads, but really there's not a dud to be found. Then we have Faith No More with Angel Dust. This album is such a testament to how much more open-minded I feel like the radio listeners of the 90s were, because despite being a really fucking weird album, it made number 10 on Billboard, sold extremely well, and received plenty of critical acclaim. This was basically the starting point of Mike Patton becoming a household name despite his work with other projects like Mr. Bungle, and to this day I think it's one of his most diverse performances to date. From radio bops like Midlife Crisis and Everything's Ruined, to the head-scratching RV, to the downright death metal moments of Jizzlobber, it's a truly wondrous thing to behold. Absolutely bizarre, and another one I'd describe as having that 90s lightning in a bottle atmosphere. Everyone is giving their all, and you would be hard-pressed to find another album quite like it outside of the Mike Patton catalog.
Easy listening, but it's really violent, satanic easy listening.
By the way, if you're enjoying the video, support me by hitting that like button, and obviously there are way more than just 10 albums I could cover here, so comment your own down below. But next up we have the Mars Volta with Deloused in Comatorium. To this day, I cannot turn on Interciatic ESP without feeling compelled to both dance and sing along. What an incredible song from an album that's such a unique fusion of progressive rock with Latin and jazz rhythms. And Cedric absolutely kills it with a vocal performance that also so adeptly seems to navigate his post-hardcore influences and Mexican heritage at the same time. Incredible range and a really unique overall quality. Sometimes I honestly forget just how good songs like Roulette Dares and Ariatarca are until I throw them on again, but man, is this the musician's wet dream from the singing to the drumming and guitar work. I'm sure there are plenty of prog metal, hardcore, and even avant-garde metal musicians out there who have this in their collection. Alright, getting weird here, we have Fiona Apple with Tidal. There are going to be a few real curveballs on this list, but hear me out. There was a time when solo pop artists weren't the mostly cynical songwriting by committee marketing products that they are now, and if you ask me, Fiona Apple is the perfect antithesis of that trend. And I'd also argue that Fiona Apple walked so that modern artists like Lingua Ignota could run. Not only are her simple, stripped-back vocal and piano pieces beautiful and well-written, she is fucking pissed on some of these songs.
And I say, give me my back and then go there for all I care. I got my feet on the ground.
Right from Sleep to Dream, there's just this sense of venom behind her voice that really speaks to me in the same way that most metal does. So stop being embarrassed that someone might catch you listening to this. They're not metal enough to handle some real angst. Next up, we've got Mr. Gnome with Heave Your Skeleton. As long as we're really stepping off the beaten path here, I might as well throw in this incredibly obscure duo from Ohio that I only know about because they played the same local show back in Chicago as some friends of mine. Really, I could have chosen any of their first 3 albums, all of which are available on Bandcamp, but I think Spain is the first song I heard them perform, and man was I captivated by its dichotomy of twinkling, sad indie rock with syncopated blasts of cathartic distortion. Nicole absolutely commands the stage every time she steps up with her wispy, almost ghost-like vocals and guitar, while her husband absolutely kills it on his stripped-back drum kit. Other standouts here include Slow Side, Vampires, and Cleveland Polka, but if you like music that feels like a depressing ketamine trip, you should hit play. Then we have Coheed and Cambria with In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. Another musician's band. I've said before that it took me a while to get into these guys back in the day, mostly due to the vocals, but once you reframe what they're doing as more of a modern interpretation of Rush, it all just falls into place. They have many great albums, but this one probably has the best cross-section of everything I like about them. The progressive and conceptual elements are firing on all cylinders, but while also never forgetting to deliver on memorable hooks.
I've had the clues of lost naked emotion.
The title track is one of my favorite openers of all time. Three Evils and The Crowing bring the riffs, and A Favor in the House Atlantic is just so catchy. Don't let Claudio's singing turn you away, you'll be missing out. And then we have, bear with me here, Dave Matthews Band with Before These Crowded Streets. Another pick I'm sure is going to make some of your little baby brains explode, but for all the stereotyping this band gets as a drinking band for fraternity bros, Dave and his band are incredible songwriters. I'd even go so far as to call their first 3 albums among the best written of the entire 90s. I mean, compare these layered performances melding so many genres and bringing saxophone, fiddle, and other instrumentation to most of the other stuff on the radio back then, and even more so now. And not only that, much like I said about Fiona, Dave gets fucking metal on a few of these songs. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that his performances on The Last Stop, Don't Drink the Water, and especially Halloween are just as chilling as some of my favorite black and death metal.
Carry on.
Y'all check out this playlist for more top 10 lists, and obviously I have a lot more suggestions that we didn't get to. I didn't even touch on 90s hip-hop, so let me know if you'd like a part 2 down in the comments. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.